not being able to build one because we don't have $30 million. With a 3-to-1 match, you could probably build 4 and not spend $8 million.
They still working on that.
But you haven't heard that, have you?
No, they still talking about.
I hadn't read it nowhere.
But I think they're applying and submitted the application for that 3-to-1 match. That's where you have to apply for it. And they have made the application, but I don't think they've been granted yet. But they've made the application to get that money, to see if they can get that 3-to-1 match, or they would give them that additional revenue. They have done that. But the biggest fight that we having with this, and to me, what makes no sense at all, is we close the school and everything stays the same. And when you look at it, that doesn't make any sense, that you still paying the same cost and you're moving students around. But the issue that they're talking about is one that we, as politicians and all of us face, is the logistics on how you're gonna close the schools. That's the biggest problem. If you close Pt2, you close Clark School Discovery, the thing is you don't save the money unless you put all of them in one place.
That's right.
You ain't gonna save no money. It makes no sense to close one.
Well, in the reduction of the class size, you got to start building right off the bat if you consolidate.
I'm saying, but
That's the whole.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the game, that is one of the game
Yeah,
changers
you
since
got
we
to-
first started talking
yeah,
about
you
it.
But
got
see,
to
that's
put it
where
together.
that new construction could fall into place.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the big thing, is for us to get the public to accept the idea that if you want a better facility and a bigger, larger facility, you need to consolidate in a mass group and just downsize from 13 schools down to maybe 7 or 8 schools.
Well,
You got to
if
put
we
them all
got to
together.
pay for it, my whole point is, if we got to pay for it, don't drag your feet,
I think
and then we lose an opportunity.
I think
That's my
they
whole
still,
point.
they have made the application for that money. Now that I know. They have made the application for that match grant to come, that they're gonna be given from the state. But the thing is, if you get it, you gotta put the school somewhere. How many schools you gonna consolidate? Everybody wants to have the schools in there.
And I live in the real world. I think the reason they're doing what they're doing over at Pt2 is to block the possibility of a charter school coming into that facility, probably.
Man, probably, if you leave it open, that's what'll happen to it. Soon as we leave one open, they go, somebody move right
So
into it.
therefore, we're funding.
Yeah, but every time you go in there, they close them, they move into them. So that's the thing I'm saying, you know, we got to come up with some plans ourselves on, as from commissioners, how you can control the school. If you close down Plainview, the community gonna want that, but what's gonna stop a charter school from going to, unless we say go in there and do demolition on the school?
You know,
You gotta figure out how to keep them
there's
closed.
nothing against the community that Booker T's in, but there ain't no charter school can go in that community.
I don't know,
I'm telling you,
you never know,
I bet you
John.
anything.
People looking for them every day.
Not,
I think that, you know, that's my only thing, is if you open one up, they'll put somebody in it, and then here you go sitting there with schools losing the population, and you still funding it, and so you have a downsize in the school, you still the same amount of schools. But we gotta give capital outlay to them to come in, whether charter or whatever.
Well, that's a
there's
new,
a
there's
good
a bill.
conversation, but that's not our business.
But we still gotta pay them, we gotta send the money to them.
Well, we ain't got to give them the money, but it's not our business.
On capital, that you all, I'm sure, have seen, there is a bill that's been introduced in the General Assembly this session to authorize counties to make capital
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna have to pay for them
Right
things.
now, there's no
They kicked
authority.
that back, they kicked that out.
Haven't
Yeah, they keep it all out.
No.
They kicked it out.
Okay.
I know they put it in there, well, you gotta pay for them, you gotta keep everything up.
Yeah, they kicked that out.
Okay.
But I'm saying, that's what the criminal, you know, people running into.
I couldn't believe when I read that. Dang.
That's what all them guys in Wake County lost their position about. They were gonna do the same concept, what we talking about here. And all of them got kicked out of office.
This just shows you history of concurrent expense funding to the school system. And just want to point out that we're not sure about, you see how it shows almost a 100 person increase, or actually, I guess, 90 person increase from this current year to next year. Those are, I guess those are estimates. I'm not sure that that's actually what's going to take place. But you can see the breakdown between the projection for the public school system and charter school.
The 4136 grade came straight from DPI.
Yeah, but that's
And the
higher.
Yeah, the 750 came from Cherry,
Okay.
is what they projected.
The what? What is what?
The 4136, which is higher than this year.
Okay, so,
That figure came from the state, and then the 750 is the figure that Sharon's using for their
Charters.
for their charter school allocation.
they're down, he said 4,000 students.
That's why that figure looks high. We think that the actual current expense,
And then it's probably gonna be less than that. I think it's gonna have a bigger impact than you think.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, that Paul Law Brown Academy's growing.
it really is, this is right at close to 200 now.
I'm telling you,
There you go.
It's over
Yes,
200.
And, yeah.
they're taking
198,
kids
I think.
away.
Increase the year, see, they always.
There's one word that describes it, y'all, and I've been saying it all along, and we don't have it nowhere else. It's called discipline. We don't have it in anything. Anything that we discussed in this morning, it's called discipline. And we're short a ton of discipline.
Greg, that ADM's a little bit higher than what Sharon's saying, because Sharon said they weren't budgeted with like 4,000 students for Blade County. But the ADM for DPI that's going to the schools is 4136.
Okay. Thank you. As far as Blake Community College, the current expense appropriation is, that we have projected is $1,032,152. This is a 4.8% increase. Again, the Article 44 revenue that we showed you, I don't know if, I think we mentioned last time there was 44,000 left in terms of what we had appropriated this current year in relation to what it was generating. And so that's absolutely maxed out now for next year with that extra
So
44,000.
Greg, on this thing I'm looking at for a community college, it's got 1,056,000.
Yes, sir. That does not mean, that was going to be my next point. If you recall, they asked for an 8% increase.
I mean, it says this is what they, last year's budget. Am I looking at it wrong?
$1,056,000. I'm not sure what they're counting, but,
It's right here.
You don't have a copy.
No, it's on the
Okay,
thing
we'll
that she
double-
gave us.
okay, I'm not sure.
So if that's the case, you got new buildings coming online, how you gonna fund those new buildings and the construction?
Well, that's what we were trying to, we had their,
You're less than last year according to this.
I'm not sure what the
That
difference is.
includes their capital, $67,000. And the scholarship money of 5,000.
No, it ain't no scholarship money on them.
It's the scholarship money. somebody-
Greg,
Where is that sheet that y'all talking about?
Okay.
The scholarship money is included in the
Oh,
operating.
I forgot about it. How you doing?
So it's 984 plus the 167 is where she's getting the, and
Do we have that document you talking about? Where's that
she
document?
gave it the other day when she passed it out at the meeting. So Greg, where are the three new buildings? I mean, the utilities,
Yes, sir, do you have
The utility.
It's
That's
in-
what we
it's in
funded.
the it's in the
Yeah,
budget.
that-
no, I mean, it's not his budget.
Well, no, it is.
It
That's
is.
the- Yes, sir. That's the part that we're trying to fund.
It's
What,
just-
what it does not include, they're asking for a new position,
24,000.
which they added an extra maintenance position this year. I think they went from 4 to 5, is that right? They're now asking,
transferred the custodian to the bank.
and now they're asking for an additional, no, sir, what about the community? You have your community college request?
I think it was in,
But this, here's what I want to say, Mr. Chairman. The additional $44,000 is more than the amount of increase that was requested for utilities and costs directly associated with those two buildings.
So
What it doesn't fund is that full-time janitor position.
you've
And,
increased the budget $43,000.
okay, yes, sir.
And what's that gonna, is that gonna cover utilities and,
It covers what they're requesting. They may not be spending all that they have now.
How much is that Article, how much is that Article 44 giving them? Is that 25%? How much does it represent? Article 44,
214.
214?
Yes.
Is that part of that 1,000,000
yes,
and
Yes, sir.
32?
43 is.
That part,
Well, it's all part of the $1,032,000.
that
But as
two-
far as new money for this upcoming year that's not currently appropriated, is 43.
it's $43 more thousand dollars. Okay.
They increased, utility. 11,000?
Right, okay, so there's 11 of the 43. What, man, let me tell you what they explained to us is the way I understood it. For a primary purpose of the additional janitor position, and certainly, you know, we can talk about this. It is for the early college, because they're saying, and you remember, we understood that the early college
Right.
wasn't gonna cost the county more money. But they're saying that they really could use another custodial position to help with that, and I'm sure the extra, little buildings.
You got these 200 buildings. But
Where'd you
that's
get $11,000 utility?
Sir?
Plant operation, I come up with $55,000.
Pay operation.
Does that count that position?
I don't know what plant operations include.
That's a broad
It
category.
says
I figure
custodian,
utilities
plus
is in
one
there.
addition,
Yeah, that's the custodial position.
one addition,
How much did it go up to?
custodian.
From 100 to 132. Well, no, that's maintenance. See, they've already added
They've already
that
added that.
When-
They've shifted some of their, they had some, the way I
16,000.
understood it, they had flexibility in certain line items. And Mr. Britt may be able to speak to it better than I can. They kind of, they reworked their accounts and have provided funding to do this additional maintenance position. So that 100 to 132 is already in the, that's already in the position.
16,000 on the plant operation.
Biggest thing with the custodian though is those 2 new buildings, and there was more concern about the early college.
And then more students coming in this year.
Yeah, you'll notice that they've made some changes, like for instance, contracted services, they decreased from 62,000 to 50,000. Maintenance supplies, they decreased from 60,000 to 45, so they've had some flexibility apparently in certain line items, they've been able to decrease the.
That's what they need to go through, they were going through and scrutinizing their budgets.
Yeah, that's right. And just to go back to it, one of the challenges is, we're just having a hard time, we pretty much, our revenue sources are pretty much maxed out in terms of additional money for recurring type expenses, that's part of the challenge we've had with this budget. Their insurance, for instance, their insurance is increasing from 25 to 30, I'm sure that's related to the two buildings. Yes, sir. On the first page, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you probably saw this already, but under plant operations, the custodians 2 current plus 1, that's going from 64 to 90. That's where the big, that's what that's.
I guess where I'm coming from, Greg, since the facilities is our responsibility, we gotta have more, at least a half part custodian, so we just can't, they can't continue to clean 2 more big buildings with what they got. They got to throw a bone somewhere or
You
another
got
now.
to, safety, you have to clean.
How much you got allocated for
I
it?
understand, but at the same
25
time, they just made the decision to add a full-time maintenance position, to go to five full-time maintenance positions, and that was.
I ain't talking about maintenance, I'm talking about custodian.
I know, but I'm just saying, I guess they maybe determined that that was where their strongest need was, already, I'm not
So
positive.
you're talking about adding 21 more thousand on to the 67? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know what we're talking about, I'm just saying,
Is that-
we got 2 brand new buildings coming online. And they prorated, so it's gonna be more, even more next year, but you can't expect 2 people to clean that whole facility now.
I agree.
So you would add 21 to the 1032, right? If you're gonna put that salary in there, that's where it would go at? Not
They
under
were asking
council?
for 80, weren't they asking for close to 80?
How much?
80? They were asking for, we're offering 4.8, they were asking for an 8% increase. So we're doing just more than half, slightly more than half of it, at 43, so.
So you put 21 on there, you'd be doing about 6%.
Probably, that's right, yes, sir.
So you say the maintenance position is already in their proposed budget?
They've already done that, they've already made that.
Where is that showing up at?
In their budget under the difference between this year and next year.
Yeah, but you're about $380,000 off.
The
on
maintenance
what they
500.
requested, am I right?
Well, I'm looking on page, on the page that begins with 620 plant maintenance. And it says full-time professional staff, the third line item, full-time maintenance, 5 funded positions. And it's increasing, they originally had this year 100,100, and their, next year, their proposed budget shows 132.
That's what they have told us, they're taking custodian moved out of theirs, that's why they needed.
Either that or they cleaned up line items and found
Wait,
flexibility.
Jay said when he was presenting it to us, that they had moved somebody.
Okay, I thought I understood that.
But if you go back on, item 610, plant operations, they said, full-time custodian, 2 current plus 1 additional.
Right.
And then part-time security, 2, and part-time custodian, 1. But there's no increase on it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, I'm
Yeah,
not
no.
100%, I hate to sound like I'm absolutely crystal clear on it, because I'm really not.
Okay. Let me move on.
You know, I want to back up and make a statement in reference to what I said at our last meeting. And Mr. Peterson talked to a painter last week, or week before last. You know, we got a quote, what, the library's $30,000 to paint. Well, right now, my son gets married in November, and we're helping him and his wife to do some stuff at their house. And this, Mr. Peterson contacted to get a quote for the library. And at the time the guy told me, because I'm seeing him regular, because he's doing something for me, and he hadn't had a chance to get back with Mr. Peterson. But the reason I preface what I'm fixing to say, if we take the time, nothing against the college, nothing against the school or anything, but to go in and look at some of these expenses that we got to pay for in maintenance, like putting a piece of tile down and replacing some cedar walkways, that's 25 or 30,000 a piece, that could probably be done by half. This man that Charles talked to that I'm using, he'll paint the library for 10,000, and we buy the paint probably won't be 4,000. So there's a 50% savings. And I think we need to do a whole lot more of that when we're the payees and somebody else is getting the bids, and to look into some of this when we're sitting here stressing out over a few dollars. Because a lot of that's where these few dollars we're stressing out that we can pull and get. And that's nothing against anybody, but some of these prices that are submitted to get stuff done is ridiculous. And that's the reason I prefaced last time, if we had 2 jack of all trades and they just took care of these particular punch lists and nothing else, they're not even considered in your maintenance department. But when you can say, like he asked the man to paint, and the guy's a painter, he painted 5 churches in the Bladenboro area in the last 2 years. So he's a good painter. And, but that's half the price.
I wish we'd have got me quoted or
Well, he is quoting, Charles.
Okay, good.
Yeah, me and Charles, listen, I guarantee Charles don't even know that I've talked to him, but
Good.
Charles himself contacted him, but I'm using the same guy, and that's how I knew about it. Charles had been busy and he hadn't had a chance to talk to him, he said, but he said he'll paint for $10,000.
Good.
And we buy the paint.
But when you get
But
doing
that's
that,
my point, that's a 50% savings on that one project. And there's your Beaver Band's money, a lot of it. That's my whole point. That's how you can do stuff.
Same thing.
You have to do-
when you get
We have to
to
treat this money like it's ours.
I know when you get to
Our own
doing it,
checkbook.
but who will you get to oversee that if you gonna start handling bid processes that way? Who gonna do it? Who gonna be the person to do that? That's what I'm saying. So
Well,
that means everything you
It's a
do,
different process.
So I
You
mean,
got to recruit people to bid.
but that means you have to put everything under scrutiny every time you get bids in.
Huh?
You have to put everything under scrutiny every time you get a bid.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm saying, you know, if we start doing that, if somebody come over and say they're gonna bid the cut, or do whatever, then we're gonna have to start looking at how you do your bid process, so you won't get in trouble with bid process, and somebody wants to sue you because you didn't do a bid process right.
You do it the same way. I didn't hire the guy, asked the guy would be interested in painting the library and go look at it and give me a price.
Have a clue, yeah.
I'm not gonna, it ain't gonna be up to me whether he paints or not, but he's gonna fill out the bid process. I'm out of it. I've done all I'm gonna do. I made him aware of it.
I understand what you're saying, but
I mean, my goodness.
you do an open bid process, you got to have people to bid on it. If you don't, then you know who can run it
He's
down.
gonna bid on it. I mean, what are you saying? You confused me.
I'm saying, we talking about doing bidding on property like that and having guys to open up a bid. I'm saying, is there any legalities in with what we're doing when
He's
you do
on
the
the
bid
same
process?
process. I just told the board that we're gonna paint the library, so he's gonna put in a bid. It's the same process. I'm not involved in it.
But then she come to us to approve the bid? And then we approve the bid process
We
on
hadn't
it?
bid the library out yet for painting, the outside of it.
She requested,
She's
That was
requested.
inside.
she requested.
I'm making that, talk to Kim about
You gotta talk
Yeah,
to
we have
somebody,
bid that.
some of
We
this
have
stuff
bid
got,
that.
some of this stuff got legalities when you get doing this
You
business
haven't
stuff.
seen
now.
it out
No,
yet.
that's why we try to do,
Yeah, they
that's what I was saying, sometimes the challenge can be finding people to bid.
That's what I'm saying, you don't have
Like
to
this
find it
courthouse
done.
project here, we had 3 people that came and did the pre-bid inspection or whatever, pre-bid tour, hoping that they were gonna bid on it, and then not a single one of them.
Yeah, we get bids sometimes, don't be but one
There's
person bid on
but
it.
I don't know what Mike's trying to say,
I
but
think you're, well,
what
let me
I'm
just say
saying
this,
is,
I think he's thinking of the
I
interior
went through
paint.
the other day talking about the library need to be painted outside. I knew this guy that painted. I said, the library's coming up for paint, you want to bid on it, go look at it, and you put a bid in. I'm not gonna see the bids, I seal bids, I have nothing to do with it. Whether
I'll
he gets
talk-
it or not, I don't
I'll
have a
talk to you
clue.
about that today.
I mean, it's not up to me, it's just, you know somebody wants to bid, let them bid.
But the only thing I'm saying, y'all, we talking about this here in closed it right now, you saying what the guy bid
We're
is
not
gonna be.
closed.
But we sitting there talking amongst ourselves, and you're just saying what the guy could quote, what the guy price gonna be
I
on the
didn't
bid.
know that.
Yeah.
But when you, but I'm just saying, but when you
I
say
said he
stuff
did
like
that.
that, then that starts a conflict on the bid. You wait for somebody to bid, you got to put it out there, then come back and figure out how you gonna bid that thing. You can't just go there and quote bids on it that way, close out.
It hasn't been bid.
I think we just had a line item there, $30,000.
I'm just saying, now, you got to look at how
That
you
may
do
be the
it.
interior, I think that was the interior, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, 60,000 for exterior.
60,000.
Is what it's estimated,
How much for the exterior?
60.
60.
Well, somebody
And
have to
that's
have-
just a guess on Kip's part. He has no clue because he hasn't started advertising for bids or anything. Because that's the next.
Let's go to the bathroom.
Cause see, some of them have to have the bid, you have to have the insurances and all kinds of stuff to get the
Right.
government bids. You
Take
can't
them in.
bid. You just can't bid because you want to bid on stuff.
Yes, you can.
Ready, bonded.
But you gotta have bonding and a whole lot of stuff. A lot of guys don't do it because they don't have the insurance, the bonding and all that kind of stuff to do it. You get doing it, somebody else come in there and say you ain't meeting state requirements, then you got a miss. You go. I'm bid on jobs before. I have stuff. Before you get bid
We
on
don't
some
have,
stuff.
I mean,
You can't go
okay.
bid on stuff, somebody treat you like court.
Okay, need money for beavers. Yeah, we got it. Arthur said, don't forget, need money for the beavers. You gotta go to the beavers.
When y'all deal with the beavers up in the beaver alley, I got to go.
I need to
I'll be back, I'll see y'all next time.
All right.
Y'all spend all the money.
It's money.
That was just been on there.